Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So today we are going to do the chapter At-Tajub. As the word you can see means amazement. So in different languages there are different ways in which you express your amazement over something negative, over something positive, over something very beautiful. And in Arabic also there are certain ways in which you can express this amazement. For example, you want to say, what a car. So, even though it looks like it's a question, what a car, but actually it's actually expressing your amazement at looking at something a car which is really amazing, which is beautiful. So similarly, in Arabic, there are certain patterns in which certain patterns, certain words, certain fail, which are used to express this amazement. So we are going to just study that today. So at-tajub means amazement. The amazement can be of two types. It can be positive. You look at something really beautiful and you want to express your amazement on that. And you can see something really bad, something really terrible, and you can express your amazement on that. So Arabs use it, which is siyagat ta'ajub, that means these patterns of ta'ajub, in order to express amazement. Now, these patterns, siyagat ta'ajub, these patterns are four kinds. Ni'ma and bi'sa, these are fails. Uh, and then hasuna and sa'a, again fail. Then there is a pattern ma af'alahu, which is used for expressing your amazement. And then another pattern is af'il bihi, which is again used for expressing your amazement. Now first let's look at nema and besa. Now these are both fails, these are afal, and these are both sister words, by the way, which means they follow the same grammar rules. So nema and besa. Nema is actually used to express positive amazement. So if you see an amazing car, a very beautiful car, you will say, what an amazing car. So nema will be used for that. Besa will be used to express something if you see something really terrible, negative, that is. So maybe you can say, what a terrible mess, what a terrible, writing, something like that. Now there are a few rules. So in Quran especially, Ni'ma and Bisa are not conjugated. They always remain in their Hua form, which is the form that you right now see on your screen. I'm not sure really if in Arabic they are conjugated or not, but from Quran we know that it's not. They are always lazim, that means they never take maf'ul. They are always followed by an ism, which is marfu'a, which is their file. Now let's look at the example. Bi'sal kitabatu. You can see bi'sa is come the way it is in the huwa form. Al kitabatu being marfu'a is its file. And the translation would be what a terrible writing. Similarly, ni'mat ta'amu would be what an amazing food, what an amazing dish, maybe food. So something like that. Another addition would be that file, instead of al-kitabatu at-ta'amu, file will come as mausulia. So ma mausulia, along with its silatul mausul, the whole thing will be the file. So for example, bi'sama katabuhu. So ma katabuhu, ma is a mausul and katabuhu silatul mausul. The whole thing is the file of bi'sa, and you can see its ma is attached to bi'sa. So they're not separated, they are attached to it. This is also another rule. So if ma mausulia comes as a file, then ma is attached to bi'sa. The translation would be, how terrible is what they wrote. So ma katabuhu, what they wrote, the whole thing is the file, is the thing which is terrible. Another thing is when nema and besa take a tamiz, that whole tamiz will be translated after like as something. So instead of file, it will take a tamiz. So bisa lizalimina badalan. So this will be translated as, how terrible is it as an exchange for the wrongdoers. So bi'sa lizalimina, so how terrible for the wrongdoers. Badalan, if you can see common nasab and singular. So the whole thing, this is tamiz, this is clarifying what is that thing which is so terrible. So badalan is the tamiz. And as you can see, there is no outside file over here. Now, let's look at the other two fails, hasuna and sa'a. Again, these are sister words, which means they will be following the same grammar rules. So hasuna is to express positive amazement. Again, sa'a is used for to express negative amazement. They are all, by the way, translated as almost the same. What an amazing something! What an evil something! What a terrible car! What an evil plan! So and how terrible is this food? How terrible is the food? How amazing is the car? So if you see the translations, even though you will now move forward and see other patterns, these are the fail, but now you will see the patterns. You will see they are translated in the same way. There's not much difference in the translation. Now in this one, you will always have a file, just like before. And in many cases, in this one, you will take a tamiz. So in the previous one, which is uh, um, besa and the other one, so in that you see there was an option of tamiz, but over here there are more chances of having tamiz with it, hasuna and sa'a. So let's look at some examples. So sa'at I think this will be jahannamun masiran. I'm going to correct the harakas over here. So sa'at jahannamun masiran. How terrible is hell as a destination? So that would be sa'at. So sa'at is how terrible. Jahannam is hell. And Masiran, as you can see, is Tamiz, a singular common nasab. So that is as, you can see, as a destination. Then over here you can see fail Ta'ajjub is Saad. Jahannam is a file, outside file, and Masiran is your Tamiz. Now, let's look at this. Ala Sa'at ma yaziruna. So again, you can see, let's translate it first. So how terrible is that which they bear? So you can see sa'a is fail tajub, and ma yaziruna, instead of outside file, the ism mausuliya and the silatul mausul has come as the file. So this is your outside file. Now, let's move forward. And by the way, you can see there is no tamiz over here, like the above example. Now let's move forward. The other pattern that we have is, so now you can see ma af'alahu. Now this is the pattern. Again, the translation would be the same. How dash he is. Now let's look at the first example. Ma akfarahu, ma af'alahu, ma akfarahu. It's the same pattern. How disbelieving he is. Now you can see ma is ma at-tajubiya, expressing astonishment. Akfara is the shocking trait. What is it that was astonishing? The trait, which is disbelieving. And who is the person who's possessing that trait? So how disbelieving? How matajubiya, disbelieving, akfara? Who is the person who possesses this trait, or a thing or person, whatever? Another example would be ma asbarakum. So that would be how patient they are. Again, you can see ma at-tajubiya to express astonishment. Asbara, you can see the shocking trait, which is their patience. And kum are the people who are possessing that trait, which is, and you can see, by the way, the trait, people who are possessing that trait, they are mansoob. They come as a maful. They are, you can, not really maful, but what I'm trying to say is it's mansoob. So if there is something written instead of these pronouns, just remember it will be mansoob. Okay, now let's look at the last pattern, which is af'il bihi, how dash he is. So let's look at the first example. A'lim biha, which means how knowledgeable she is. A'lim, af'il. Af'il, alim. Same pattern, that is the shocking trait. Bihi, the pattern here we have biha, the person who possesses that trait. So how knowledgeable is alim? And she basically who possesses this trait will come with harf jar majroor, the harf ba, and the the harf which makes the next thing majroor. So this ha will be now jar in jar status. Similarly, asbir bikum. So again, asbir af'il. How patient they are. Asbir is in the same pattern as af'il, which means the shocking trait, which is an af'il pattern. And bikum is the people who possess this trait, which is, by the way, they will not be mansoob. I'm going to correct this over here. They shouldn't be mansoob. The same thing comes over here, jar wa majroor with B. So over here, you will see that ba, the harf jar has come, and kum will be majroor, will be in jar status. So instead, if there is a thing, that will be jar. I'm going to correct this mansoob. This will not be mansoob. This will be jar wa majroor. Okay, so this brings us to the end of the presentation. If there are any outstanding questions, you can always ask on the group. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.